The Netherlands, Holland, famous for many, many things, including bicycles, tulips, drugs, and dikes. But one company from Holland has given the world more than most companies combined, and that company is Royal Philips. Philips were amazing. They had their fingers in so many pies, it was almost impossible to count the pies. And thinking about what they gave us over the years, the Philips compact cassette from the 1960s, that's my cat's favourite album. The compact disc, laser disc, appropriately named Disco Vision in 1978, probably one of the most amazing names ever given to any consumer product. And of course, one of the first home VCRs, the N1500. I had one of those once, I should still have it, idiot. Philips used to be split into many corporate entities within itself. One of those was Philips Domestic Appliances and Personal Care. Sadly, they no longer really play in this field. They're more interested in healthcare these days. Philips Medical Systems is the largest part of the company. But back in the day, they made some incredible vacuum cleaners. And today, I would like to show you one of those. And that machine is the incredible Philips Computer Control T760. This is, I think, the top of the line machine from the mid to late 1980s. And it is very, very 80s in the way it works. This whole computer control system here is it's quite interesting. The way it works is really quite cool. It's similar in many ways to Hoover's Sensotronic range, where it will automatically control the power for you. But it works backwards to how the Hoover system works. I'll explain in more detail later. What I'd like to do first of all, before we take this amazing machine into the lounge to give it a run, is talk you through it. It has some very interesting, to quote another YouTuber, quirks and features, which are worth spending some time on. I'm just trying to think of the first thing to mention about this machine is the level of build quality in it is really quite surprising for the 1980s. Most machines in the 80s were alright. They weren't as amazingly made as they were in the 70s and 60s. This particular machine stands out for me. The plastic is just of an amazingly good quality. It's a thick, solid plastic. And there's some nice touches here. You can see it was really a top of the line cleaner. It has this furniture guard that runs all the way around the machine, which is actually rubber. It's not plastic, it's rubber. And the back wheels as well have tyres on them. You didn't really see that much in the 80s as we moved into the 90s, but yeah, it's rubberized plastic. It's nice. One thing that is missing from my machine is the hose clip here. These were basically just a very thin piece of plastic that clipped in on either side, and you squeezed it in order to get the hose in and out. Sadly, not the best idea. The plastic was very thin. It wore out over time, and because it's constantly under pressure in this situation, it always used to break in the middle. It's getting harder and harder to find machines with that piece of plastic still in place. I do still have it for this cleaner. It's upstairs. Hopefully one day I can work out a way of fixing it and getting it back on, or finding a replacement piece. I think now it's probably wise to bring you guys a bit closer so we can have a look at the T760 in more detail. We'll plug it in as well, turn it on I'll show you the lights, I'll show you the computer, I'll show you its sensors. It's easier to do it down here, so come forward. Now we can take a more close-up view of the T760. So a couple of things that I want to talk you through. First of all, we have some really quite standard features for the time, what you would expect of a luxury machine. So if we start at the back here, we have the tool stowage area, which just opens up like so. And amazingly, all the tools are still present on this cleaner. What Philips have done is they've actually mounted these tools in foam. Unfortunately, because the machine is now so old, the foam has gone hard, and I can push into it and it will actually crumble to nothing. But that just shows you what a really nice touch it is, just to mount everything like this, not just toss them in there, not to put some little plastic clips, but to actually mount them in foam is quite surprising, I must say. And then you just fold up the rear end like so, clip it in, and you can carry on with your cleaning. We have automatic cable rewind here, again pretty much standard for the time. Then we have the power button here, power pedal, and along the back here we have 3 pedals, which are min, automatic and max. Now these, as you would expect, control the speed of the motor and therefore how much power you get when you're cleaning. Automatic is by far the most interesting function. This is where the cleaner will sense the power it needs in order to give you the right level of power for the cleaning job that you're currently doing. I will demonstrate these shortly. And should I move on to here? Now this is the bag door release here, like so. So you pull that up and then you're able to get to the bag. This is the Philips Oslo style bag here. The cat's come to join us again. And it has this really cool bag safety bar here, which is spring loaded. So this will lock into place when the bag's there, but when the bag is not there, it will spring open, like so. I just take the bag out for a second. It prevents you from closing the lid. Now this is quite normal on most Philips machines, but in this machine it does something else as well, which I'll show you in a second when we turn it on. I'm just going to lock that back into place. The final thing of interest here in the bag door lid, is where the filter is, and the filter is actually stored here in the lid. Now I couldn't work out why this was previously, because I thought, well, the air's not coming out from here, so why is the filter there? It's because the machine does something very, very clever. As you can see, that's a microfilter mounted on this cage that also has the clips to lock the bag door lid in place. So you can take this out, you can change your microfilter, and then you slide it back in, like so, and then that forms the latch, which latches down to close the bag door. Very clever, very neat. So I'm going to turn the machine on now, and you'll see the panel light up. And what I'll do is, hopefully you can hear me. Well, no, I'll show it you first, and then I will explain what it's doing. So let's turn it on. So the machine's currently in auto mode. If I press min, it shifts down to minimum power. Then I can press max to go to maximum power. And by pressing auto, it returns to sensing. The machine's struggling somewhat because there's interference coming from somewhere, and you can just hear the motor pulsing just ever so slightly. When I tested it last night, it wasn't doing that, which is quite interesting. So there's something to do with this room, or maybe the camera that's causing it. Now, how the machine senses what power it needs when it's in auto mode is due to how much blockage there is on the suction inlet. This is in fact backwards to how the Hoover system works. Hoover's system will reduce the cleaner's power when the hole is blocked, or when there's resistance on the air. Philips's system increases the power when there's a blockage or resistance on the suction inlet. It's kind of hard to really work out which is the best way of doing it. And in fact, thinking about it, there probably is no best way of doing it. The machine is not clever enough to know what carpet it's on or what it's doing or what the application is. If you think about it, increasing the power when the airflow is restricted is probably counterintuitive. If you're using the machine in auto mode and you have the all-purpose tool on the end of the hose and you want to clean your curtains, that's going to cause quite a lot of resistance, ergo the power will go up. And the last thing you want when you're cleaning your curtains is the machine running at 1200 watts. You want low power for that application. So thinking it through, Hoover's system is probably superior. You could argue it either way. So I'll just show you what these lights can do when the machine's running. And if you block the inlet when the machine is in auto or max mode, it will actually detect that there's a blockage in the hose and warn you by flashing this light and making a beeping noise. And there's one more light on this panel, which is the bag fitted warning light. Now, if you remember that bar that I showed you, let's open the machine like so. We'll actually turn it on now. We'll put it in minimum power, so hopefully you can hear me. So watch this light. So not only can you not shut the bag door lid when there's no bag fitted, but the machine will actually warn you with a physical light that there is no bag fitted. The last and final thing that I want to show you on this cleaner is how it exhausts its air. If you look at it, there's no obvious way, or there's no obvious part of the cleaner where the air comes out of. We know the air goes in here on the swivel, but where does it come out of? The filter's obviously a clue. And indeed, the air exhausts here. This is a handle to open the bag door. But then you open it, and there's no aperture here at all. There's nothing for the air to come out of. And what the machine's actually doing is the air's coming in here through the bag, through the filters, into the motor. And when it's gone through the motor, it actually exhausts downwards and travels sort of underneath and around the side of the cleaner. And then it comes out here, and this vent is actually covered by a rubber substance, and the vent itself engages with, let's turn the machine around so I can show you, a grill here on the bag door. So the air comes out of here, up into here, and it exhausts underneath the bag door and comes out here where the filter is. So it's blowing up through, it's blowing down into this here and then coming out where this handle is. It's blowing out of here. It's a really clever idea. It's essentially over-engineering something that is better. It's done for a reason, and that's to keep the noise down. The machine is not very noisy when it's, you know, in its normal operation. Here now with us, because it's so close to the camera, it does sound quite noisy. But in actual fact, when you're away from it using the tools, it's not. And actually you can see you can feel the air coming out. From this vent here, when you cover it up with your hand. It is a very cool, very clever vacuum cleaner. I'm not entirely sure how much it would have cost when it was new. I don't think it was cheap. This is definitely top of the line. Now I just want to talk quickly about the tools, so I'm going to send you back down the table so I can see you properly. Now unfortunately I don't have the original tool set for this cleaner, so in order to do the demonstration for you, I'm going to have to use the tools that I used with my other Philips. I can't remember what model number it is. I think it's a P76, P74, something like that. I'll put a link to the video on a card anyway. But yes, I have to use those tools. It's no bad thing, really. These 1970s tools that were fitted to Philips cleaners, they're fantastic. They really are. Again, the quality of them is just superb. It's a lovely long hose, really good quality. Yeah, there we go. And it's got the standard Philips fitting on the end there as well, which they used for an awfully long time. It also has the chrome rods and the standard Philips floor tool, which is unfortunately broken. You've probably seen that in my other Philips video. It would be nice to find a better set of tools for this 760. I guess I'll just have to keep looking. So that's it really. Just wanted to explain about the hose. We will take it into the lounge now and give it a run.